Wasn't working.
So much traffic.
Cheers, man. No worries.
Wow, that's really close.
I would like to thank Kieran for that thought-provoking speech on materialism and the American dream. And next, I would like to call upon Jonathan Boylan.
Look who it is!
Did you just touch my ass? I love me. I love myself, and I don't need anybody else. I love myself. I'm bringing sexy back. I'm the daddy. Words of wisdom from Hailee Steinfeld, Kendrick Lamar, Justin Timberlake, and my father alike. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jonathan Boylan, and I'm here to propose the motion that we should silence the self-deprecating opposition and learn to put our crippling insecurities aside and embrace our notions. But first, some rebuttal for the opposition. I thought you were gas, man. Don't bring yourself down, man.
Thanks very much.
No worries. And yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, you're there like disputing notions, and you're sitting in suits and gowns debating. So you all have notions, and you're all hypocrites. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we should embrace our notions. How else could people proclaim themselves as an Olympic athlete having gone to the gym once? How else could students studying medicine spit in the general direction of the arts block? How else could they manufacture doors large enough to fit Conor Lamb's head inside of them? How else could your average Joe claim their Dublin 12 address is actually Dublin 6 West? And how else could a young man organise a charity boxing event, having taken Conor McGregor's advice that there is no talent in this, only obsession, a little too seriously? March 23rd, guys, and tickets are available. And how else could everyone truly feel like they mattered? The hatred of people with notions is a purely Irish thing, and it is perhaps the worst thing about our country. We look down upon people for saying that they're the daddy. We look down upon people for smoking straights instead of rollies. We look down upon people for supporting the Phil and not the hist. We look down upon people for...
Shame!
We look down upon people for not being able to down a naggin. And we look down upon people just for being people. It isn't right, and I'll tell you why. As I'm sure Aoife and everyone else will point out, I went to a private, fee-paying, cash-taking, all-boys school. In my school, you were expected to play rugby. I, however, along with the other skinny, and I quote, bitches, decided that the artistic sports, such as badminton, debating, water polo, lacrosse, and writing poetry, were more suited to our tastes. As a result, we formed a vehement hatred against the lads, on the basis of their notions. We laughed at the lads. We ridiculed the lads. But secretly, we wanted to be the lads. We hated them for their notions in the same way that I will never eat lunch with Aoife on the basis of hers. The twisted way of this mode of thinking is self-evident. While it is obvious that there is nothing wrong with defining yourself as a rugby lad or an artsy lad, there is also a whole lot wrong with hating people for doing it. Not allowing people to embrace their notions, in the words of Britney Spears, is toxic. People define themselves by their notions. They define themselves by their Brown Thomas shopping bags, their veganism, their macaroons, and their Samuel Beckett books beside their bedside table. Connor.
Is it really that bad to be a vegan?
Yes.
No. There is nothing wrong with taking selfies. There is nothing wrong with eating bagels instead of sandwiches. There is nothing wrong with using the Flood for Ents Facebook frame. There is nothing wrong with tattooing "I'm an absolute legend" on your forearm. And there is nothing wrong with saying "I'm Jonathan Boylan, I'm the king" over and over again in the mirror before you go to college. As a young man who spent 2 hours...
Do you do that?
Yes.
Like,
Point of information. I'm Jonathan Boylan, and I'm the king.
As a young man who spent 2 hours putting on a suit in the hope people would laugh at my speech, I say, who cares about what other people think?
Will you play badminton with me tomorrow?
No. And while we should allow people to embrace their notions, I also believe that having notions makes people feel inherently confident, allowing them to create a false image of themselves that they may well like a whole lot more than the real one. Connor. I mean, isn't that what standing in front of your peers and people you don't know in a suit and tie all about? To prove my point, I draw your attention to our very college. In this world, you have many types of people. In the arts block, you have one type of people. They smoke rollies, they wear puffy jackets and flared trousers. The The women cut their hair short and the men theirs long. They talk about communism, unintelligible DJs. I'm actually in the course, but I find socialising really hard. So and philosophise on whether or not the free market truly will provide. They lament the prices of an Americano in the Perch and the fact that they left their box of Ambo in the Ed Burke. Then we look to the Hamilton, the county football tracksuits, the thick country accents, the tracksuit bottoms, and my God, the tracksuit bottoms. The discussions about maths and Star Wars and the €2 points in dices and coppers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all there. My God, do both of these people have sets of notions? However, they have these notions together. Having notions allows us not only individuality, but conviviality also. Look at the brethren of the Arts Block, the Culchies of the Hamilton, the Lauds of South Dublin, as opposed to the boys of the North. Without notions, there is no division. Without notions, there is anarchy. That type of community that notions breed is something truly beautiful. And finally, having notions can enable you to save the world. That unconquerable feeling of thinking that you're better than everyone else because you bought an Oasis in the shop instead of an orange juice is the driving force behind every historical success story. Martin Luther King's notions gave him the audacity to rally the civil rights movement with his I Have a Dream speech. Gandhi's notions gave him the belief that he could free India and allow him to do so. Muhammad Ali's notions gave him the power to win fights. Conor McGregor's notions allowed him to rise to the very top. Marcel the Monkey from Friends' notions gave him the courage to piss on Monica's couch. And Brian Dobson's notions meant that we got to listen to that steamy, sexy voice on the 6-1 for years. And my notions allowed me to think that I could speak for the Phil last week and seamlessly transition to the hiss this week. Ladies and gentlemen, notions breed success. It is about time we stopped begrudging those who are better than us and started taking notes on how you can be more like them. And next week I will be offering a workshop on how to do that. When you're relying on your deathbed, your comfort won't come from loved ones, nor will it come from the memories. It will come from knowing that you were an absolute legend. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Catherine. So first of all, I'd like to say what's up, YouTube. Shout out to the live stream. Second of all, Ross Mallory just told me to dial back on the alcohol, so I'm kind of worried for myself. And then again, first of all, Catherine, I have no money. Catherine, I love you. Please give me the bottle of wine. I'm begging. That's genuinely a point, so please. I'm so poor. So what are notions is the question. I wrote this hours ago. We have notions. No one has explained it really so far. You guys have just said really random shit. So notions are Brown Thomas. Notions are frappuccinos. Notions are sushi. Notions are every fucking donut shop in Dublin City. Oh my god. Boys, I'm so sorry. Notions are hummus, craft beer, and deconstructed coffees. Notions are getting served food on anything less than a plate. Notions are spending money on taxis to go to a place that is serviced already by Dublin Bus. Notions are having not one, not two, but 3 different soaps in your bathroom. That's my house word. This one's personal, so please. Notions is having Sky TV as a kid, and therefore having Disney Channel, and therefore being able to relate to the nostalgia over Hannah Montana, when like kids who just had UPC can't, okay? Notions is showering for a second time in one day so that the hiss don't think you're sweaty. Hi, Catherine Kelly. Notions is wearing a scarf for fashion purposes and not just for the weather. Notions is Notions is eating Tato Bistro, mature Irish cheddar cheese and spring onion instead of the regular ones. You're a wanker and I hate you. Notions is paying €87 for a ticket to see George Ezra.
And I love every second of it.
Notions are bullshit. That's my point tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, from this list, you may be thinking like, oh, Aoife, surely you just hate rich people. I do. No, sorry. I think that we should eat the rich and feed them to the poor, actually. And this leads me on to my next point, which is Jonathan Boylan. Jonathan Boylan, all I have written down about you is pocket squares and fish-looking motherfucker, and that's it. So, like, Jonathan thinks that he's not, like, you know, he thinks that, like, I'm just gonna roast him tonight for going to a private school. But that's funny because, like, there are so many people from private schools who are still, like, decent people. And you're a prick. That's it. And, like, just remember that tonight, on this night, you managed to compare yourself to Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and Conor McGregor. And you're never coming back from that. But, you know, notions, they're not directly correlated with wealth. That's important to remember. Notions are like, we're coming off, by the way. Notions are like directly correlated with like being just inauthentic. It's when you forget your roots, man. Notions are just so inherently fake. Is Julie Davis in the audience? Fantastic. So Julie, like, we don't know each other, but I made this joke that like they're as fake as when you say like, hey, tens. Julie, the thing is that we're not all tens. Like, some of us are fours on a good day, and that's just the way it works. I'm sorry, but that's how it goes. I'm sorry. And you know, like, notions, they're as fake as like the laughs that Catherine Kelly gets for her terrible puns. Catherine, I'm sorry, I love you. I do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, but like, yeah. So my problem with notions is that they're untruthful. So like, Catherine O'Brien is one of the people that I wanted to talk about tonight. Catherine, would you mind standing up? So, Catherine always introduced herself as she's from Navan, and then tonight I found out she's actually from Tara. So that's fine. But like, the whole point is that no matter where she's from, it's a real shithole. But the whole point is that this year she moved to Dublin. Okay? And now she lives on Rathgar Road and thinks she's the shit. Okay? And whenever anyone tries to call her a culture, she'll be like, oh, but like, I've been going to Dublin all my life, so like, I'm not a real culture. But here's the thing, Catherine. Going to a CTYI meetup every month doesn't count. I'm sorry. But like, the thing is that Catherine still just will not admit to her roots. And now she's just this blatant fucking vegan who wears berets, she studies English, and she's a vegan! Also, I study English, so please don't make those jokes. It's so yeah, so you can tell that like I hate notions in principle, but like yeah, maybe if I minded my own business, this wouldn't be an issue. That's wrong. So just this afternoon, I had my entire day ruined by the entire concept of notions by this man. This man, his name is Hugh Olida. I wouldn't even get him to stand up. So he suggested, right? So we were all speaking in this debate. It was all very nice, and then he suggested that we all go for dinner. Okay? So, right, no, let me just tell you. The Hiss were serving free fucking pizza. And Hugh Olida was like, no, we're not taking the free pizza. We're going for dinner somewhere else. It's not enough for Hugh. Hugh just had to have a formal sit-down dinner with everyone in the debate. Hugh, I have minus €12 on my bank account because of you. No. I just want everyone in this room to know you're a prick, and that's it. So, final point is that everyone here has notions. Everyone. I was going to talk about Ross Mullery, but I don't have time, but you guys know. So I'm going to admit right now that even I have notions, right? And, yeah, I know. Okay? But this doesn't mean that we should embrace notions. I first realised that I had notions at the Galway debating competition this weekend. I went with the Phil. It's a bit awkward. I'm sorry. And you know, we had a few good like cans and Palestinian discourse. It was good. But there was this one moment where I looked around and was like, oh my god, they don't have a debating chamber. And like 30 seconds after I realised I'm an asshole and was like, oh wait, like most places don't have debating chambers, that's not a normal thing. And I want to finish this by saying that I am so much of a Trinity ranker that I thought having a proper debating chamber was normal. So my final point, because they're doing this to me, is that notions exist in us all, but we shouldn't embrace them, we should just kill them, and that's it. Thanks.
So I wouldn't normally do this, but Aoife seems really, really desperate. So I'm going to give her a can of Desperate
Catherine, does this mean I'll get the bottle of wine?
The bottle of wine's still in the power. I'd like to thank you for that fine speech. And next I would like to call upon Poshleen Cooney to make
Oh, don't I know it? Don't I know?
Ladies and gentlemen, when I started writing this speech, I didn't really know where to begin. So I literally just went on YouTube and I watched last year's RNL to get some ideas. And there was a lot of talk of like shifting and like love in it, which was, I found odd because the motion was this house with banned memes. But anyway, the other thing I noticed about it was just that it was basically just all about roasting the other team, which was kind of worrying for me because, I mean, I don't know anyone at all here. Like, I barely know you guys. The only person I know or have met before is Aoife. Nice for a coat, by the way.
Sorry, this is really awkward.
No, nice for a coat, though. It looks great. It's not notionsy at all. But anyway, that's not the point, right? I decided that because I don't know anyone, instead of talking about you guys and roasting you guys, I'm going to do something that I'm much better at, and that is talk about myself. So the first time I came across like the concept of notions was actually quite recently when I informed one of my friends from Cork that I was intended on leaving my business course in DCU and heading to Trinity to study arts, which you have heard about already, thank you. So yeah, and he just basically rolled his eyes and said notions under his breath, but that was enough for me to understand like what the concept of notions is, and I heard it about 2 million times since as I continued to inform more and more people about my life choices. So basically, since this is my first time debating though, even though I kind of knew what notions was, I did want to just be really thorough. So I googled notions Irish slang. And the first thing that came up was this BuzzFeed list that was called 19 words that have a totally different meaning in Ireland. And they're really funny to imagine non-Irish people reading these because they literally don't make any sense at all. But for us, they'll make sense. So among all these words, like coppers was one, and it was defined as a club where you will inevitably end up. And other words like shifting, which is to kiss someone passionately, usually in coppers, was the word notion, which was defined as the worst thing you could have, especially in plural. To which I was like, is it though? Like, is it really the worst thing possible to consider yourself worthy of better? Like, worthy of maybe that chicken fillet roll from Carluccio's instead of the one from Spar. That's just a little bit better because of, you know, the Ballymaloe relish that's on it. Or sushi instead of like a flimsy ham sandwich from Tesco. Or like, you're just striving to be maybe just a bit more intellectual. Have a bigger vocabulary. Someone's just reading Anna Karenina, all right? They're making a show of it, but are they really the worst person that you've seen that day? I think probably not, right? In fact, I think having notions is part of this much bigger, very positive movement that's been happening all around the world in the past decade or so, which is the encouragement of self-love and acknowledgement of self-worth. So as my teammate Jonathan talked about, it's not a bad thing to love yourself. In fact, it gets you places. So I think especially as Irish people, it would be a good thing for us to embrace our notions, because for some reason in Irish society it's like ingrained in us that you should hate yourself and it's a bad thing to like yourself. So if you have notions, you have high self-esteem and you know it. You show it and everybody else can see that. So they see you acting out of that high self-esteem and they become like salty, but that's their problem. All right, we need to embrace our own notions. If everyone allowed everyone to just embrace their own notions, we'd all lead happier lives. This talk of self-love leads me to what I believe is representative of notions in every part of the first world, or every part of the world that has internet, and that is Instagram, all right? Everyone on Instagram has notions. Instagram is fueled by notions. So, and this is where I would have roasted the opposing side for their notions-y Instagrams, but I didn't actually look at them yet.
What if you have an Instagram because you're insecure and you want attention?
I mean, is that why you have an Instagram, though? Like, if that's why you have an Instagram, like, we can talk. I'll look at it. I'll help you build your self-confidence. So basically, right? I'm going to talk in hypotheticals because I don't know any of you guys and I didn't look at your Instagrams. So basically, like, you're looking at someone's Instagram. Mary posts an Instagram of her, like, her gym body that she's worked really hard on for months and months. And you are a bit jealous and you roll your eyes and she has notions, right? But you begrudgingly respect her for the confidence she had to post that photo and the hard work that she put in. But imagine you admired her notions. You admired the confidence that she had. Or in fact, were inspired to do your own work, to work hard on your own body and improve your own view of yourself. That's a good thing. There's so many positives that could come out of that one notionsy Instagram that she posted. And many people do actually like become models thanks to their Instagram, or they post videos of themselves playing music, or they post photos of their own jewelry that they've designed, or their own artwork. And it's just the kind of thing that like everybody has to start somewhere. I think it's safe to say that at the beginning when they posted that stuff, their like 10 mutual followers were accusing them of having notions. But the thing about notions is, it's kind of like dressing for the job you want. Like, it may be inauthentic, but you want it to be authentic, and it's kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. It's going to get you there. So, you want to be someone who can afford to pay extra for that fancy toasted almond vanilla soy latte instead of instant coffee. And by buying it, you're giving yourself an incentive to work hard enough to get a job where you don't need to work every day for 3 weeks to buy one of those. So another argument for embracing notions is that like each and every single person in this room has already embraced notions. And that's because like debating is like the most pompous and like blatantly pretentious thing ever. Like it's full of notions. So like we're all sitting here like like Hugh mentioned our lovely portraits on the walls here. We're all like in our wankery like black tie clothing and we're arguing over whether we should embrace notions or not when we already embody everything that notions is. So guys, our notions have brought us together. So this is all going on in Trinity College. I'm not even going to go into the notions that kind of just come with that territory. But every person here just loves notions already, alright? And another thing about notions is it's just fun. Like, it's funny to roast everyone here for the notions that they have. So I've run out of time, but I'm just going to finish up with a quote from Oscar Wilde, because what could possibly be more fabulously pretentious and notionsy than that? So guys, we're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. And in my opinion, those of us who have notions are looking up at these stars in the form of those small guilty pleasures and little indulgences that don't really affect anyone else, and so no one else has any right to comment on them. And I, for one, ladies and gentlemen, would rather be looking up at the stars. So thank you for listening.
Those fine words, and next I would like to
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to make a case for the opposition that his house would not embrace notions. I'd like to start off with a few points of rebuttal. Okay, Kevin, you got me about me hair. But you look like the ugly child of the Monopoly Man and Mr. Peanut. Okay, secondly, Hugh, I'm sorry I don't spend my evening reading poetry to my girlfriend by the fireside. I have better things to do with my life. And also, Connor Lamb, you play badminton. That's a fucking shot, like. Alright, so, I was staring at a blank piece of paper in Berkeley, and I was thinking, how the fuck can I rip into Nathan O'Regan for 7 minutes? I'm delighted to be here this evening among working class heroes such as Jonathan Swift and Jonathan Boylan. Last week, I had the absolute pleasure to be invited to an orgy. I'm always down for trying new things, because I'm hip, young, metropolitan, like a heterosexual Jack Cullen. But I don't get to know as no, and I don't get nearly as much sex as Jack Cullen does. Fuck off. It was the film exec. I witnessed 2 hours of the most incestuous roleplay, where uppity fuckers like Nathan O'Regan and James Spillane got to wank off with poshos for one night only. All hands on deck. Fuck off! Unless any of those hands have calluses for one ingratiating wankfest. The devilishly handsome Phil kids all got to have a go at one each other with hilarious anecdotes and really witty inside jokes. And in or out club, and for a little country boy like Nathan O'Regan, fresh into the big smoke, getting in with a real posho like Niall Pryor for the first time, it was heaven. I'm sorry, Niall Pryor, if you're here, I don't even know you, but you're the only name I remember. I'm here today to rip into the motion that you should get notions simply because you go to Trinity. What do I mean by notions? Notions is the fact that gay Cork men who would have been burned at the stake 30 years earlier in their home province are now pronouncing their H's. Notions are proudly proclaiming that you just like totally broke into his convo room. Notions are refusing to wear trackies since you came to college. Notions are thinking Blur are better than Oasis. Notions are drinking alcohol for the taste. Notions is Hugh thinking it's socially acceptable to verbally wank about his girlfriend at every single opportunity. Notions is having any other type of dog bar Jack Russell, which is really a mongrel. Woo. Now, I want to make one thing clear. If you went horse riding as a child and was scared of kids and trackies growing up, this isn't about you, you're just a wanker. No, this debate is about the type of fucker who got uppity when he arrived here, even though he still got his fucking Susie and is like such a libertarian. I look no further than my good friend Hugh. Hugh, oh Hugh, today alone you were telling me you don't have a Limerick accent. And of course you don't, you're in Trinity now, baby. Hugh's so uppity, he and his girlfriend have safe sex, a concept completely foreign to his Limerick roots. Limerick men like rats after all. I met Breed when I was in TY in a King's Inn competition. No, fuck off, Jack. I met her again this year. Breed was obviously not smart enough to do law because she told me that Fine Gael were a primarily urban-based party, which is obviously not true. If there's one thing no, go away. If there's one thing farmers and mixed middle-class Southsiders like, it's fascism. If there's one thing people with notions like, it's mixed-race gay Thatcherites. Speaking of Thatcherites, no. I've hardly ever talked to Jonathan, and I regret every single instance that I have. I was in a comfortably middle-class gaffer last Friday, where incredibly, absolutely nothing got broke and no one puked anywhere. No one was even smoking joints, but the absolute lad, Jonathan, was there. I got in the door, and Jonathan was walking down the stairs, saying he just rode his girlfriend, but we all knew he hadn't. Jonathan wishes he did law, Paul, and he probably got more points than me as well, but the mother goddess known as Susie has swooped me into the course, and that's why I'm here today evening. So now, I stand before you in an ivory tower known as the College of Historical Society to tell you to not get notions. I'm being a hypocrite, doing the exact same thing as the Phil exec did. I even stag Notions O'Regan, because after all, Cork is the mead of Munster. I might as well start saying like right now. It all seems tantalising, doesn't it? You want Julie O'Brien's accent, don't you? Here, here! Sure, you don't even like the bog anyways, and your mammy sounds like she's gaggling stones every time she talks in her thick lead drawl. I love you, mammy, if you're watching this. Here, I'd like to make 3 points, if I can, and make this somehow relevant to what the fuck we're talking about. A life without notions is simply more enjoyable. Secondly, A Tale of Two Cities, a case study of Nathan O'Regan versus Julie O'Brien, hashtag Sarah Brannigan, hashtag Queen, hashtag any girl in law, Paul. Notions are born, not bred. So firstly, I'd like to talk about the first point for a bit, how that life is simply more enjoyable without notions. For anyone who has talked to me for more than 5 seconds, you may be aware I am from Kells. Kells is about the furthest place away from from Notions in the south. But as Keeveen Hamill proves, Notions is simply not a monopoly for southerners. Keeveen, from a long line of prestigious IRA gun runners, came to Trinners and promptly started dating a Protestant girl. Where is your tradition, man? His notions are so powerful that his family trade of bomb making has been replaced by liberal love. Not even Harry Humes can stop you from being a fucking car bomber. But imagine if he didn't have notions. Imagine me and Keeveen marauding the streets of Kells, Nikes on our chests and tenants in our hands. I can see it now. Where the fuck was I? We'd be smoking joints in public and harassing old people. And it would be such good crack. People with notions often pity homeless people and buy them food. I say give them what they really want, heroin. If you have notions, you're locked in the Graduate Memorial Building, slaving away a pointless debate which will never convince anyone, because Donald fucking Trump won the presidency on a ticket of talking like a person who got brain damage from a car crash. I mean, for fuck's sake, people, you're investing in the wrong gig here. P.S. Samir, you're a fucking wanker who jacks off the podcast, so I'm not going to listen to your bout. No amount of fancy debating and notions like Aoife Cronin dropping economics to do English is going to win the hearts and minds of boyos and ricer cars up and down the country. Only being an absolute lad in the sesh to do that, and no, it's too late now. And if Donald Trump is a bigger lad than you guys are, then everything, the debate is already over. But the debate isn't over, is it? I still have to get to Notions O'Regan. Seeing Notions O'Regan on a daily basis is always amusing. Notions gets to be around Julie O'Brien, a native girl of the big smoke, and someone comfortable in her own bouginess. And who can blame her? She knows who she is, and she's comfortably pulling off wearing trackies to college. Meanwhile, Notions, from some fucking back road in Cork that not even Michael Collins would have went down, is the opposite. Notions didn't even have a piece of cutlery until he came to Dublin, and he wore his secondary school half-zip around college. The physical equivalent of yelling people that he's a cultie. But Notions quickly changed. Notions went to one day of a law firm, and now he's suddenly a Phil girl, convoying in the chambers like a real good prop. Notions started getting into his head. He wasn't Nathan anymore, and he went on a debate for Galway for the weekend. He complained of having Southside withdrawal. But we can all whiff off the fake from a mile away, and that's what separates a proper bougie bitch like Julie from an Aldi brand Southsider like Notions. This is because Notions are born, not bred. When I lived in Kells, the most eventful day of our young life was when the Offo had a literal fire sale. See, yes.
I actually never knew you from Kells. You never mentioned it.
No, I never did I? See, the owner of an off license also runs an undertaker upstairs. And this weird kind of life and death situation where he forces drink on teenagers and then they die from alcoholism, the undertaker went up in flames, and a large of what seems to be insurance fraud, he sold all the drink in stock for half price and got the new stock in on the insurance. So, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the queue was half the town. And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It was a Wednesday, and the first sign of cheap drink had brought them all out. I know there's some underlying socio-economic reason for it all, and I was proud of it too. See, the problem with Notions is just that. It's an idea rather than a reality. If I paid attention in my sociology lectures, I know it's a social fact. But more importantly, if you didn't grow up a posho, looking from the outside at all that social restraint, it doesn't look very appealing. Maybe a culture of glassing people with kebabs after a night out doesn't look appealing either. Lad culture is just as much of a wankfest as the hist is. But that's okay, we're all born individuals. Some people are posh, some people aren't, but there's only one Mr. Sinnott, oppose.
Black tie, which was really appreciated. And I would also like to award a can to Anya Kari, because she took a photo of me in the hat that painted me in a really bad light, but was kind of funny. In his Frechies 248, again, would really recommend you guys post some stuff there. I don't know if this is that much of a reward for a post, but you too could win a can of Tesco Lager. And next, I would like to call upon Breed to continue to face their stars throughout the Prosecco.
Ladies and gentlemen, my speech will hopefully be answering 2 questions, which I've constantly been asking myself throughout this entire debate. One being, what the fuck are notions? And, sorry, we've talked about it a lot, but I'm still very unclear. And 2 being, why the fuck am I here? So I'm going to address number 2 first. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not funny. I'm not a law Paul student. And more importantly, no one really knows who the hell I am.
Here.
Literally, the best roast I've gotten tonight was that I sound like I'm from America. Yeah, that was funny. But in fairness, that means I don't actually know who any of you guys are. So all my roasts are kind of from like first impressions. So I hope they're really awful. Okay. But yeah, anyways, I'm basically just a randomer from off the street. Literally, I didn't even apply to do this speech. Yeah.
You said that you're a randomer for off the street and you were looking for a roast. So remember that time I literally passed out on the street and you saved me?
I will roast you later, darling. Be patient. Anyway, so I'm random off the street. I didn't apply to do the speech. Shows you how popular the Ornells are. I was asked to do this by Liam Smith. Hi. So if the speech is shit, it's his fault. But anyway, also I can't say no when anyone asks me to debate, or actually I can't say no really ever. So yeah. But basically, I didn't really realize that this was a comedy debate, so I was terrified, and also I have no idea what the hell notions are. So I did kind of find out on Monday night. Did anyone go to Ambassador's Ball? Yeah? That's notions. That is notions.
No.
Notions.
No, notions. Sorry, John.
You've done your speech.
You're drunk. Anyway, so notions, I worked out on notions. Notions is when you drunkenly get mad at the American representative because he took a taxi to the liquor rooms and you had to walk in heels, and then you saw him getting out of the taxi and you were like, why the hell didn't you tell me? Sorry, but that's notions. Yeah.
To be in that situation in the first place, you'd have to have notions. So it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but notions create more notions, and it's a vicious cycle, but we should still embrace it, dude. Anyway, so then afterwards I was thinking, like, why, like, maybe I have notions, but I'm just, like, unaware. So I started actually examining my life, and then I suddenly realized, like, shit, I have notions. See, none of you guys know this, but, like, you're complaining about, like, private schools. Oh boy, I went to one of the most private. If you guys know Jared's, no? Are we like too high up? You know, like Shane? Yeah, no, exactly. One of the most expensive schools in the country, not to brag, yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, like, I brought Prosecco here because it wasn't a Jared's party without someone drinking Prosecco. So I want a party tonight, thank you very much. Anyway, so Jared's, I mean, it's hard to even explain, but like, honestly, Brown Thomas, Avoca, like, we just go to Avoca for like breakfast every single morning, because why not? Anyway, so, I am notions, and there's no reason why I shouldn't embrace who I am. How dare you say I shouldn't? Anyway, so, at this stage I'm gonna split up the debate and maybe start some roasting. Okay, so, chronological order. Oh, so, I'm not funny, but deep down inside I'm mean, so it's about to come out, and so just warning. Anyway, actually, Hugh, like, no, actually you're fine. Kieran, I've had to debate with you twice today. Like, this is the first time, I feel like today is the first time we've been introduced to each other. I've debated with you twice today, and to be honest, like, I didn't listen to either speeches. I'm sorry. I don't know how they went. They were decent, I'm assuming. Yeah?
I think Kieran's really funny.
Fuck you guys. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you were like, from what I heard of your speech, I heard like losers and winners, and I'm a bit mad that you were complaining about losers and winners, because like, you won Grantons today, so you're a winner, so how dare you be like, oh, I shouldn't be, like, if you don't want that winning title in Grantons, hand it to me, maybe? Yeah, okay, fine. That's fair. Anyway, so I thought of this really funny one with Aoife. Two fellow girls in the committee, Caitlin and Aoife. I mean, so I'm doing like a STEM degree. I know. Yeah.
Do you think Catherine looks like Wednesday from the Amazon?
Here!
I'm getting roasted right now.
Yeah, anyway, should have said that in your own speech, dude. Anyway, so basically, like, I'm doing a STEM degree, you guys are doing humanities degrees. I mean, it's just, like, it's not like I'm looking down on you guys, but, like, you guys should really embrace notions now, because, like, in, like, 3 years' time, you're not going to find jobs. You won't be able to afford notions. Sorry. In fairness, it's English, dudes. These Pol-Sci guys, or Law, whatever.
Law and political science.
Whatever. No, thank you. Anyway, Jonathan. Well, I'm allowed to roast you. Anyway, sorry, what did I actually say about you? Oh, Christ, this is actually running out really fast. Sophia, 50% of the time I've been with you, you fainted, so that's weird. You fainted. Most of the time I'm with you, you faint. No, sorry, my apologies. Anyway, just going back to the actual debate, let me just say, like, why I think we should embrace notions is, this is wild, but, my mom is from the north side. I'm from Donkey, so this is like, what? She had notions, and now her daughter is debating in Trinity, and she can't be more proud of her, okay? So my mom actually wanted to, like, go on somewhere and do well, and that's what she did, and now the product is me. What I'm trying to say is, it's good that people wanted to improve themselves, and you shouldn't slag them for wanting to do it. And finally, okay, so to end my speech, I just want us all to toast notions, because let's be honest, guys, okay? Sorry, let me do this, I can do it. Let's be honest, guys, okay? I'll finish. Basically, like, we're all here. This is notions, guys. This is without a doubt notions. And so I hope you guys can all raise glasses. I mean, Aoife, do you have drink? Have you drank at all?
Point of information, yeah, no, it's all gone.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Aoife, you can't.
It's a real problem, actually.
You're an alcoholic. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Go on, breathe.
This is so much harder than I'm used to. Oh my god.
This is so embarrassing.
This is really embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
Can you do it?
No, I'm not even gonna try it.
No! Yes, it's strong man, yeah.
This is horrible to watch. I feel like sweating my hands.
I don't know if this is actually gonna work.
We can get you a corkscrew.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are actually watching this right now because they always watch my debates, so this is quite embarrassing. Oh, Dad, you didn't teach me. Anyway, I'm going to end my debate here. Does anyone want to try?
I've seen ISIS beheading shows.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I can't.
Wait, hang on.
This is
Come
not
on.
coming out.
Come on. We need notions, come on. I also need some alcohol,
I
please.
hate it a lot.
So amazing.
Random Prosecco and Tesco, you really do need a corkscrew.
Damn.
She's gonna go up to his committee, she's gonna, you know.
I'm sorry, I should have gone for a better brand.
I'm way too close to the sympathetic.
Thank you.
I'd like to read for that fun.
Is the speech still done?
I don't know. Fine.
And next, I would
Jack Sinnish!
call upon Jack Sinnish.
I'm going with the hat, so I hope it works.
Here, here.
Members of the College Historical Society. I stand here today to oppose the concept of notions. We, the opposition, oppose notions on the grounds of impracticality, on the grounds of elitism, most importantly, on the grounds of common human decency. Firstly, I'd like to bring a bit of rebuttal /roasting. Jonathan told us that every morning in the mirror he says, "I'm Jonathan Boylan, I'm the king." I thought you only said that when we make love, but apparently... That, to be honest, was my main roast point, so I'm just going to move straight into the speech. And as I'm the last speaker, I'm going to naturally be bringing you a sweet, sweet Marxist extension. So, Marx defined the concept of commodity fetishism as an emphasis on the arbitrary value of a good which ignores the intrinsic investment of labour that brought about its production. I'm dead serious. To put it simply, this is the phenomenon that causes us to value a diamond more than water. Yes. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
This is a phenomenon that causes us to value a diamond more than water, or to value season 1 of Sherlock more than any other season of Sherlock. It's this idea which has fueled consumerism in our society, driving countless people into debt and pouring money into the hands of major corporations. It is this idea that fuels the concept of notions. Yes.
You're a really good person, and I wanted to say that.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the love. Notions, by their very nature, involve the accumulation of goods. Pumpkin spice lattes, Top Man trousers, berets, Catherine O'Brien. Notions involve commodity fetishism of the highest order. Something which has a continuous and pervasive negative effect on society. Yes, Ross?
Will you marry me?
I will. We're already married.
Jack,
Yes.
I love you.
Thank you, Aoife. Ladies and gentlemen, if Karl Marx himself refused to embrace notions, why, I ask you, should we? Kieran has already brilliantly outlined the danger of consumerism. And if you think I don't know how bad consumerism is, you're listening to a man who has bought every Radiohead special edition since 2007. I promise you, it's not as sad as it sounds, but it's pretty fucking close. So, notions are an inherently elitist idea, and something which we, the opposition, object to in the strongest terms. Notions have infected every area of life, including the most important one in mine, Doctor Who. Yes, prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to get pretty fucking niche. So I spent a lot of my time on a Doctor Who forum called Gallifrey Base, or GB, as we like to call it. And if people don't know what Gallifrey Base is like, it's a bit similar to the Hellmouth in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, in that it's inhabited solely by people. It's inhabited solely by people who genuinely wish to kill you, spend all of their time trying to avoid sunlight, and think they look cool in leather jackets.
Information.
Yes.
That's just the hiss.
Fair. So, I could be spending a bit of time on Gallifrey Base, you know, talking about how excited I am about the new 7th Doctor TV tie-in comics, and then all it takes is one guy to start talking about how the show technically ended in 2001 to 2002 with the webcomic Death Comes to Time, then it ruins my entire afternoon. Sophie, this is the joke you promised you'd laugh at. It's incredibly neat. Someone laughed. So this is an issue that all fandoms, communities, social groups face. Like, notions have the power to destroy entire communities. The idea that, like, having a deeper passion for something somehow gives you greater enjoyment potentials is inherently damaging, and it's caused entirely by notions. We, the opposition, believe in calling a spade, and we think that these things are blatantly notions. It's these notions that make fandom inaccessible to outsiders, that take the enjoyment out of something that should be inherently fun, that led Doctor Who to be cancelled in 1989, 1996, 2002, 2003, and 2016. Notions, members of the House,
Jack?
could have killed Doctor Who. Yes.
Doctor Who never got cancelled in 2016. What the fuck are you talking
It went on
about?
hiatus in 2016. But it's back now. It's back now. So, we've had talk of how notions can be a source of inspiration. Notions give people a sense of confidence about what they do, and belief that they can do anything. Yes.
Having to sound like 3 minutes, but I love you.
Thank you, Hugh. I'm appreciating the love, guys. Yes.
You got nerdier and you got more embarrassing, but I still love you.
Thank you. Appreciating the love. So, it's been raised that belief in yourself can be a good thing. Yes.
Jack, you're just a wholesome person.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the love.
Yeah. This is the most POIs I've seen anyone take in any speech ever. Well done, Jack.
Thank you. So,
I've only met you today, but I want to get to know you much better.
thank you so much. Seriously, the love is appreciated. So it's been raised that belief that you can do anything is a good thing. But George Bush believed he could paint. You know, I believe I can write comedy speeches. No, thank you.
Point of information?
No, thank you.
George Bush was really good, though.
It's fair.
So was Hitler.
But I believe I can write comedy debate speeches. Hugh Elijah believes he can flex. I think we can all agree that these beliefs are inherently incorrect.
Superman.
And these beliefs... Is he doing the Superman? Shame! live stream now. And these beliefs have forced innocent people to face horrific artwork. This God-forsaken speech, Hugh Elijah doing that. If it weren't for notions, people would just do what they're good at, not propelled by some false confidence, not facing societal pressure to constantly step out of their comfort zone. Like, this, we contend, is just better for everybody involved and leads to a greater happiness in society. So, ladies and gentlemen, we, the opposition, believe that notions are the scourge of our society. We believe there's something we must abandon for our sake, for the sake of the generation to come, for the sake of, like, society as a whole, for the sake of Doctor Who. Ladies and gentlemen, because of notions, if Doctor Who ever gets cancelled, I'll have to start watching Downton Abbey. And that's the fate I can't dare think of. Thank you.